Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to Shop Gossip. It is your girl Michelle, and I am here to spill the tea. Today we are going to talk about work-life balance. I'm sure I probably touched on this a little bit before, but I just wanted to get a little bit more in depth about my journey and how it has been for me with work life balance. I recently became a mom about 3 years ago. I have a toddler, he's three. He is my first and only. I do have a bonus son, but Jaden is my biological son. And let me tell you, he is such a pleasure. I don't know how many moms are out there or dads are out there who actually have little ones and are in the business of, entrepreneurship and things like that. But let me tell you, it can definitely be challenging, even with a partner. So, me and my husband have been trying for a while to conceive, and finally we were blessed with our little bundle of joy. And before he came, life was just like fast paced. We were able to come and go as we please. We were able to do what it is we wanted to do, when, where, however. And of course, when you put a baby into the mix, which I'm so happy to have, it definitely changes things. I remember when I was pregnant with him, and oh my goodness, and my book would be so filled with clients. And I love my clients and I appreciate my clients because of my clients I'm able to do what it is that I love. But let me tell you, it was hard standing behind that chair up until your ninth month of pregnancy. And I did it because it's what I love, and I was doing it with passion, but I was tired. My body was starting to slow down. I was beat, but I pushed through and I made it through. And now fast forward, once we had him, he came home. I took the 6 weeks off. My clients were they were going crazy without me. I was going crazy without them because this was my new normal now. Just trying to figure out how do I now balance everything. And with that being said, I stayed home for a little bit with Jaden for about, like I said, for about 6 to 8, no, about 6 weeks. I stayed home right around 6 weeks, and with the help of my loved ones, they came over. They stepped right on in, and they helped me to be able to get back into work and get back into the swing of things and the flow of things. But it wasn't until Jaden had started daycare. Mm, boy, when he started daycare, it was just like trying to balance that part of it because now he was sick all the time. So imagine you having a book filled with clients. Now, remind you, we don't have personal time, we don't have sick time, we don't have vacation time. It's just us and our business. So we have to figure out a way to make it happen. Meanwhile, yes, I have my husband, I have my family, but in the same token, my husband also has to go to work because he has obligations and deadlines and things that he needed to do with his job. And unfortunately, we didn't really have the real true help that we really could have used during those times, and it was a struggle. Like, I remember Jaden being probably about 2 months old, and I'm telling you, from 2 months he was sick, 3 months he was sick. When I say constantly and consistently having some type of cold. So imagine being a new mom, freaking out because your baby just keep on getting sick. You got clients, you got people who have important events coming up, and you have obligations with them as well. So it's like trying to find that balance on what to do, what not to do. Let me tell you, it was times I had to bring my baby. Yes, I brought my baby in here, And I'm sure so many other cosmetologists and hairstylists could relate to this, because sometimes as a mom, you just do what you have to do. And there were times that I had to bring him in here. I would cut my day short, but I will also just try to be there for everyone. And at some point, it was like, okay, Michelle, you're going to have to balance this thing out. You're going to have to come up with a strategy on what could you do? How could this help you and your family in situations like this? And let me tell you, and my mom, she was living in she still lives here in Pennsylvania, but she lived about 30 minutes away. So, and she also was working full time. My husband's mom worked full time. So for me to sit here and say, oh, you guys could have called off of work, that would be selfish of me, because it's, at the end of the day, they all have priorities as well. But I was able to cut my book down some until I figured out a routine and what worked best for me and my husband. And finally, and I remember my cousin telling me, Michelle, it'll get better. His immune system is going to build up. It'll get better. You won't have to worry about this anymore, especially when he starts school. And let me tell you, thank God he's still at the same daycare. And I'm so grateful for his daycare provider, because she is so flexible with me. It was time to be like, girl, never mind. But yes, I'm truly grateful for her, because she definitely worked with me in concerns with Jaden. So just having that toddler, and even now he is at a stage where he is very, very active. So when I get home from work after a long day, of course, my family, they want my undivided attention. So I have to try to cut work off and not answer or respond to emails at a certain time, and tend to the family, because guess what, that is your number one priority. First is God, then it's family, and then after that, comes business and everything else. But I really try to live by that as much as I possibly can. Sometimes I get thrown off a course a little bit, but I think that at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, who you have around you is what's important. Having your loved ones around you, those things are what matter, because they are the people who are going to feed you. They are the ones who's going to pour into you, when you have poured out so much. And now, fast forward, I have a toddler. My clients adore him. Every time I'm in the salon, they just want to hear so many stories about what he has done, because you all know babies are very, very busy and active, and especially at his age. And I'm always talking about him, and I'm bragging about how smart he is and what he does and how he just fills our life with so much joy. But finding that balance and making sure that you have a good support system around you really helps you to be able to keen in on your vision and your business, and just kind of like stay focused on those things. So that's just my little gem I wanted to talk about as far as family and work life balance. And then, like, again, having a husband and making sure that you spend time with them, and it's not always all about work, because again, it is important that we do take the time out for our loved ones. Yes, our business is important. Yes, it must grow. Yes, and another thing is finding the right partner who understands your vision. And a lot of times we get with people who truly don't understand what it is that we're so passionate about. I don't know if it's an insecurity sometimes could be within them. And if it is, you might want to check that and be like, you know what? Later for you. But you definitely want to find somebody who is going to stick beside you, because being an entrepreneur is definitely not an easy road, but it is such a rewarding journey as long as you stay the course. And now I want to get on into this. I think I'm going to talk about extensions tonight. We have so many hair extensions out there, such as quick weaves, traditional sew-ins, micro links, tape-ins, the weft method, and the K-tips, which is the bonding or the adhesive method. A lot of clients sometimes they come to me because they see so many different videos surfacing the internet and they're like, "Oh, I want to get that style," or "Is my hair strong enough for that?" And I think that whenever we get into extensions and we get to talking about extensions, especially with our clients, you want to make sure that you're doing a consultation to be able to sit down with them, analyze their hair, see if it's strong enough, if it can hold, um if the cuticles are weakened, then it's not something that I would necessarily want to get into, especially putting too much tension on the hair. But there are ways that you can go about it where, there are techniques that can be used for people who have alopecia and different things like that. Again, that's when consultations come into play. But as far as like tape ins and micro links and different things like that, you definitely want to make sure that you do a proper consultation with your hairstylist or the stylist. Also, you want to make sure that you're doing a proper consultation with the client. With my quick weaves, the method that I use is I like to braid the hair down, put the stocking cap on, and also put the bonding protective on top of the cap. And then that's when I start to place the track onto the hair. And that actually helps to protect the hair from getting damaged and different things like that. And especially when they come back and they come to the salon. I always tell my clients, you want to come back to me. Once I've installed it, I would like for you to come back so that I can take it out, because that way it's easier on the client, because literally all you're doing is sitting them at the shampoo bowl and you're rinsing it. And as soon as you put the water on there, it just literally slides right off as if it's a wet cap. Um, One of my favorites to do is a traditional sew-in. One of the reasons why I love traditional sew-ins so much, and a lot of my clients typically keep them in for about 3 months. I've had some keep them in as long as 4 and 5 months, and I'm like, you better get your tail in here so you can get that thing taken out, because you don't want the hair to start um matting or anything like that. But if it's done properly, I feel like you would be fine. Um, and your hair is protected underneath. Now you just have to worry about making sure you're coming in for your weave maintenance and different things like that. That I love because it's very versatile. You can pull it up, you can pull it down, you can do whatever it is you want to do with it, just as if you were doing tape ins. Tape ins is something new for me. Um, I just took a class. I want to say maybe about 6 months ago, maybe a little over 6 months. I had been eyeing that technique for some time, that in the micro links, and I just wanted to learn more about it before I dived right on into it. And that's one of the things that I did. I wanted to do my research, figure out if it's good for you, if it's not good for you, who who's qualified to get the tape ins, who's not qualified to get the tape ins. I do have a client right now who I've done some tape ins on. Her hair is a little thin, but it's not that thin, and very fine hair, I should say. But the tape ins were wonderful on her hair. She actually prefers the tape ins over the traditional sew in, because with that, is also, I believe they're more versatile than the traditional sew-in. She can pull it all the way up into a bun. She could do a messy bun. She could do a side bun. She could put it down. She could flip it back and forth, however she chooses to wear it, just like it's her own. And some of the things that I always tell my clients is that, especially when you're wearing tape-ins or any type of extensions, you want to make sure that you're staying away from like salt water when you're going on vacation. You want to make sure that you're brushing it, but you're not over brushing it. You're not like excessively like brushing the hair so much that it becomes unraveled. You want to make sure that you're using the proper shampoo, and also you're using proper shampoo techniques, and you're shampooing it properly and using the right conditioner and different things like that. Even with the tape ins, You want to go to a professional and have that put in installed, and you also want to make sure you're going back to the same person to have them taken out. It's, to me, it's a lot of work as far as the reinstall if you're using the same hair. um some of my clients, they don't like using the same hair. They rather just go and purchase new hair. But that's not for everyone. Some people will prefer to use the same hair, especially if you spent a pretty penny on it, and you can use the same hair. You just have to pay the additional cost of what it would be to actually get that adhesive installed back onto the track. Now, for the micro links, I have not done those yet, but as far as my experience, just like every other, you want to make sure that you are brushing the hair properly. You want to make sure that you get you a weave brush, and that you're combing it, and that you're also using some type of protective bonnet or satin scarf at night to cover up that hair. So those are just some things that, I wanted to touch on tonight as far as weave and extensions, and who qualifies for weave and who doesn't. Again, that just pretty much boils down to a consultation between you and your stylist, and them seeing what best fits you and your needs. Oh, another thing that I'm finding is pixie cuts. They are coming back, and I am loving it. Oh, I love me some short hair. As you can see, I cut my own hair. Yes, I did. This is how I learned how to cut hair, which is on my head. I took those scissors, I chopped it off, and that was it. And they always say a woman that cuts her hair is about to change her life. And for me, I know that when I went away this summer to the hair show, I had like a epiphany, just like trying to refine myself. I don't know. I feel like I was just in a space of kind of like being stagnant in a way. And even though I had been blessed to have so many great opportunities that have been presented before me, and that I'm able to talk about my journey and share my story with the world in hopes to inspire someone else. It's amazing how sometimes you could still feel like you're stuck or you're not doing enough. But I think that's what happens when we just have to sit back and kind of like self reflect. And a lot of times, and I've said this before, is that we can be so hard on ourselves. And I think that in that moment, you just have to give yourself some grace and recognize that you are further than you were before, than you were a week ago or 2 weeks ago or a year ago. So give yourself some grace, allow yourself room and space to grow, to be the best that you can be. And I'm just happy from that. I had that moment, when I was away, where I just had like an aha moment, literally. And it was like my life had truly just like flashed before my eyes, where I was able to reflect on all the goodness that has come into my life, and all the blessings that I have been receiving, and all the wonderful people that I have been able to come in contact with, whether it be clients, stylists, co-workers, my girls at the salon, just being able to encourage them, or them encouraging me, that right there is just a blessing in itself. So all I can say is for you to just keep pushing, keep moving, keep striving to be the best version of yourself that you can be. Thank you for tuning in. I'm so happy. I hope that this video has helped someone along the way. I hope that I'm able to at least reach someone, that someone could hear this and it resonates with them, and then they could feel like, wow, they feel inspired to get out there and do something, and know that you are not alone. And yes, obstacles do come your way, but all you have to do is keep pushing, keep striving. Thank you for tuning into Shop Gossip. That's it, and that's all.